Meeting called to order at 6:30 p.m. At this time, if we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for another wonderful day. Thank you for this beautiful weather and such a great weekend. We thank you for tonight and that we can gather together, make some very important decisions for our school district. We thank you for all the blessings you've given us. First and foremost, our students, our staff, and just the community that supports us. Thank you so much for that. Give us wisdom as we try to make the best decisions possible for our district. We ask that you'll be with those that need our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Roll call. Ms. Franklin?
Present.
Mr. Basham?
Here.
Ms. Bright?
Here.
Mr. Groen?
Present.
And I am present. We have quorum. Dr. Briggs, any emergency additions or revisions to the agenda?
Good evening. We have no revisions or emergency additions.
Are there any items on the consent agenda that any of the board would like to pull off into action items and discussion? All right. Next, we go to the approval of minutes. The only ones we have on the agenda for this evening is the April 12th regular scheduled board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Ms. Bright seconds. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. This time, do we have any recognition, Dr. Briggs?
No recognition this evening.
All right. Ms. Hawkins, Curriculum and Student Services.
All right, good evening. I have a few updates I just want to share with the board tonight. First off, iLearn continues to be in full swing at the elementary and middle school, so we're very excited to learn about and be able to celebrate the academic progress of our students. As I talked about last time, I would have a decision regarding summer school at Silver Creek Elementary at this meeting, and Silver Creek Elementary will not be offering summer school this year. Silver Creek Middle School will host a 2-week summer school. That'll be June 1st through the 14th, and Silver Creek High School will offer a 4-week summer school, which will be June 1st through June 28th. Committee work has continued the last few weeks. We had a great turnout at the Wellness Committee meeting, and we'll be gathering later this week to wrap up our spring 2022 work with the Mental Health Committee. We had another vendor presentation related to our social studies adoption this afternoon, and we'll be meeting in May to finalize a recommendation to submit to the board at least by the last meeting in May. And then professional development is important to all of us, and so I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that I had this past week to attend the IAPSS seminar on April 20th in Indianapolis. And so this was a great opportunity to have some conversations with some other superintendents around the state while learning about legislative items, law updates, and an instructional model that's gaining popularity in the state. So appreciate that. And that's all I have for you guys tonight. Any questions?
Any questions from Ms. Hawkins? Thank you.
You had mentioned curriculum models that, were becoming prevalent in the state. Can you expound on that just a little bit?
Yes, there's some work through the Central Indiana Education Center, and it has to do with, it's a little bit like flipped learning that was kind of popular about 10 years or so ago. And it sort of takes that model and attaches a roadmap, more of an individualized roadmap for each student. It's more so of where you would take like a unit and plan backwards for that unit. And then the students complete things. Without it in front of me, but there were 3 different ways, like must complete, can complete, may complete. And so it just kind of helps with makeup work. It helps the students to sort of individually go through and learn the tasks. And it also frees up more time for the teacher. And sort of there was a concept behind it related to the fact that subs are hard to find. And so it kind of helps the students to be able to continue with their learning even if the teacher isn't there. type of thing. So it was very interesting. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about it. There's some free professional development opportunities that are out there. So that was just the very first time that I had heard about it. I did contact IUS, and they are implementing some of that with their pre-service teachers. They call it a different name. So again, I'm still in the very beginning stages of learning about it, but it was a neat model to hear about. So yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ballmer, Finances and Operations.
Yes, good evening. We'll start with our monthly financial report for our two main funds, education and operation. Beginning with education, beginning balance for this year, $6,466,939.02. Our year-to-date revenue, what we brought in so far this year, $5,159,703.89. Our year-to-date expenditures, $6,578,154.88. Again, just a reminder, the discrepancy there between expenditure revenue is that 1,300 fund and our transfers from education to operation. Ending balance for education at the end of March, $5,048,488.03. We expect to be 23.8% spent. We're 24% spent. That does not include the 1,300 fund. We will make an additional appropriation later in the year once we have a better feel for exactly what we need to do there. Moving on to operation, beginning balance for this year, $4,530,176.97. Year-to-date revenue, $893,633.90. Again, a reminder, revenue for operation, your two big revenues is in June and December, which is following property taxes, which is coming up very soon. Year-to-date expenditures, $1,436,894.23 with an ending balance for operations, $3,986,916.64. We expect to be 23.8% spent at this point. We are 17.4% spent in the operation. Moving on to additional things with finance. Again, we want to thank our community for always being so supportive, especially with our bonds and just our taxpayers' dollars. I want to know we are being good stewards and doing everything we can to maximize dollars that we get. One way we do that is we look for investment opportunities. So recently we did invest our 2021 bond money in a laddered portfolio based on cash analysis, and we will see a great return on investment on that, which will help either fund additional projects that we may need here at the end of the projects as things wrap up, or possibly cover some operation expenses. So again, we do our best to be very good stewards of their money. We appreciate their support, and we know we need to be diligent in how we utilize it. Another finance, the 45% threshold. So the IDOE did increase its state support tuition. A part of that, one of the requirements is that your 110 object codes, which is your teacher salaries, that 45% of your teacher salaries, and they're very specific on what teacher salaries is, that 45% of your state tuition goes to those 110 or your teachers. The IDOE recently released the 6 months, so from July to December. And we are above the 45% threshold, and all projections show that finishing out here in June 30th with the fiscal year that we'll continue to be above that 45% threshold. I will let you know if there's any change to that. On operations, therapy dogs, we continue to move forward with that. I can't say therapy dogs without thanking Dee Kramer and Amy Compton. They continue to help us with finalizing, but we are going to be finalizing our handbook, the agreement, and working on finalizing the application. We plan on bringing that to the board in May. Once we have that all finalized, we'll seek some candidates from buildings where we may be implementing a therapy dog for next year. Then there will be some pre-screening process with Duffy's that'll help us make a final selection for those buildings. Again, then formal training will begin. And at that point, with that agreement, we are going to use ESSER funds to pay for the training. However, there's a 3-year agreement for a return on investment for doing so. Bus purchases, want to again just thank the board for their approval. And again, maximizing dollars. This was a great opportunity to purchase a couple buses that Ms. Cahafer had found for us. It's going to be a great investment, and just wanted you to know we are moving forward with that, and great job to Carrie for finding this great opportunity for our district. Salisbury Elementary, Mr. Farley and his crew's been working diligently over there. We've got the roof sealed. We're still addressing some minor leaks that just need some additional sealant, but they've done a wonderful job over there. We'll now be turning our focus to the parking lot that needs attention. We have some additional repairs going on at Silver Creek High School as well. And I'll conclude on Dr. Briggs, Ms. Hawkins, and I recently had an opportunity with Mr. Seclair to go to each cafeteria and help with the food service. It was a great experience. I cannot get over how impressed we were with the efficiency, the pleasant environment, the tasty food choices, and just the interactions with the kids. You could tell it was a good experience for them. I think Ms. Hawkins, which I don't remember exactly what she said, so I'll turn her, but I think she had a comment about how efficient. What was your comment about the restaurant?
Well, just basically, if I was going to own a restaurant, which I have no desire to own a restaurant, but if I was, I would go to our cafeteria people and have them come and serve there, because they were some of the fastest, most efficient people that I've seen in a long time. So they're very impressed with them.
Yes, kudos to our food service. It was a great experience and eye-opening what they do in each and every day. So, and that's it for operations and finance. Any questions?
I do have one question for you. Where are we at with the positions with the custodians? And the only reason I ask is because I know we have Adam here tonight, but I have seen some of our staff are working, beyond what is expected for them to be in the buildings just to keep the buildings clean. And I know we put a lot of measures forth to get those positions hired and filled. How's the turnover been, retainment? Because, although I'm really thankful for what our staff does to come in and clean bathrooms and, those areas, but I think that it's a lot to ask for them to be here in the evenings and on weekends when they're already working full-time hours during the week.
Yes. And if Mr. Farley wants to add to this, but yes, we still have open operation positions and we're having a horrible time trying to fill those, to be honest. So that's why we're leveraging high school workers. We still have that program going and continue to that. That's filling quite a bit of the gap. And then we're also looking to collapse a couple positions and add a maintenance position to alleviate some of the time that's being spent dealing with day in, day out maintenance, and then give them more an opportunity to focus on the cleaning. So me and Mr. Farley have been meeting quite a bit weekly and bi-weekly, depending on our schedule availability. But we're really trying to look for a long-term plan for facilities, and knowing that that's one of our biggest challenges. And all I can tell you, it's a work in progress.
Okay, so one of my questions is, and I could be wrong on this recalling wise, but it's my understanding that the primary has a contracted cleaning service, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason why other buildings are not looking into doing that as well to alleviate that concern?
Yeah, well, we solicited one for the middle school
Okay.
last July, August, and it came in extremely high.
Okay.
So we did not take it.
Okay.
I do think that's something that, I don't know if we've thought much about going out again to see what's out there. But I know at the time, part of the challenge of we only got one bid back or
Right.
one quote, because even some of those companies didn't have the staff
Right.
to help us with.
And hopefully that's going to change as people kind of get back into a better routine of things. But I wouldn't mind seeing that going out again, just to see if there's any other companies now that are interested, to see if their status has changed with being able to employ people. I just think if we have one building doing it, hopefully we could get it going for the other ones as well. So.
Are the high school students that are working those positions, do they only work at the high school, or do they cover the other buildings as well?
They work at all the buildings.
They do.
Correct, besides the primary. Do you know exactly? I mean, I know at one time we had 7, but I don't want to speak incorrectly. Yeah, I know it's increased, and from what I've heard, and we've even had some comments from teachers that they've really noticed the increase in efforts, and that's making an impact on the cleanliness of the building and the rooms. So, I mean, we do think it's improving, and we think that's a good leverage point for us. It's a great opportunity for high school students. Again, weighing out expenditures versus what we can get with the current staff. Of course, there are current operation laborers in each of those buildings besides primary. So, look, how would you shift those things around? And again, there's a lot that plays out when you're trying to make those decisions. But we'll continue to explore. It is on our radar. We know it's a need, and again, we'll try to make the best decision possible.
Thanks for the update.
And just to clarify, we don't have students working at the primary since we have that
Correct.
contract.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Thanks for the update.
Any other questions for Mr. Ballmer? Beth, do we have any community input? Does anybody want to provide community input? All Fair enough. Dr. Briggs, consent agenda?
Okay, good evening again. Yes, so under number 8, consent agenda, we have letter A, finances. We have numbers 1 and 2, and then under number 2, number 1, and then number 3, 1 through 9. Under B, personnel certified, we have 1 resignation and the creation of 5 positions under B. So under personnel 1 certified, we have B, numbers 1 through 5. Under classified, under letter A, appointments, there are numbers 1 through 5. And under letter B, positions, there are numbers 1 through 3. I'm sorry, 1 through 4. And then under leaves and retirements, we have number 1. And under other, letter C, we have policies. We have second reading there. We have 3 policies under that. And then letter B and letter C. And that is it for the consent agenda.
Any questions on the consent agenda before we open up a motion, put it on the floor?
I just had a question about the sponsorships, not in regards to the policy writing. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just wondering if there's a plan in place, how we're going to solicit the sponsorships, and if so, what measures are in place to make sure that there's equity in our solicitation between the fine arts and athletics?
So there's an easy answer for that. So this is just regarding the policy. And Dr. Briggs and I talked today. We are setting up a work session.
Okay.
You should have a date tomorrow. Is that right? We're going to try to have a
One
date
of my
tomorrow.
goals by tomorrow is to settle on a date.
Is to go through and figure out how we do that.
How to solicit and all that. Okay.
Well, it's probably going to go much deeper than just the solicitation of the bids,
Yeah.
but
Well, that was just my umbrella question.
right.
Yeah, I think a work session would give the board the opportunity to have some discussion and dialogue about what it is we're looking for and how we want to go about it. I would like to pair that up with a work session at Prosser so that we can learn about Prosser's programs, have a building tour, and then have a public work session to talk about naming rights and sponsorships.
Would this be before or after we have bids come in and no alternatives and their cost and things like that?
I would recommend we do that here between now and, say, the end of May.
Okay.
Bids are due to come in June 6th, so it would be before.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're rapidly getting to the point where I need guidance from the board in terms of when it comes to sponsorships. And that guidance would be your input and how we can settle on the procedures and expectations.
Do we have a motion to bring the consent agenda to the floor?
So moved.
Mr. Basham makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Franklin seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. At this time, Ms. Drain, do you have anything to, Ms. Myers?
Okay. All right. First of all, welcome to Silver Creek Elementary. Thank you guys for being here at our school, different location for you guys. But also, I wanted to recognize a few people with some things that are going on at the elementary school. First of all, Mrs. Balmer has been working with all of our art students and have submitted artwork to REMC for a statewide calendar, and 2 of our students were named first place winners for 4th grade and 5th grade. So congratulations to Lydia Kelly, who was our 5th grade winner, and Kaylin Fuller for our 4th grade winner. So we had 2 first place winners in the statewide contest. That's pretty impressive. So great work to Mrs. Balmer and her art skills with teaching our kiddos. Obviously, it's paying off. Also, we have an update on our Dragon Dash. I know you guys, we've told you about our Dragon Dash and coming up, and We ended up raising for our school, PTO in our school, $56,835. That's $505 more than last year.
And you didn't have to stay on the roof?
I did not have to spend the night on the roof this year, so that's exciting. But a big shout out and thank you to all of our families for all of their support. We couldn't do it. And our top 11 earners get to join me in a limo ride for lunch, for pizza and a treat in May, and we're really excited about that. It's one of my favorite days of the year, So a shout out to our top 11 earners or raisers: Trey Faith, Declan Day, Emmett Day, Hannah Holmes, Annika Holmes, Sam Day, Noah Davis, Julian Leland, Ellie Dooley, Lily Mitchell, and our top earner, Landon Dietz. So thank you guys for that. And a couple of fun events that are coming up, because I'm excited that COVID is, things are gone and lightening up and we can do some fun things. So this Friday, our student council and our fifth graders are working on a dance. So our student council has been working hard. Mrs. Franklin's been helping out a lot with that. So thank you for that. And then also on May 19th and 20th, we are planning our field day. So it's going to be a special event for the kiddos. So we're excited about that. And then our fifth grade graduation will be on May 26th, the last student day. So we're excited about that, to welcome some families in to see the school and the kids. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Farley, any updates for the board? Anybody have any questions for Mr. Farley?
On that maintenance tech job, how are we advertising for that job?
To answer your question, once, if it is approved, we'll go through Elizabeth Miller, get it posted. I'm hoping word of mouth will bring in a lot of candidates through folks that we know, or maybe staff that we have now that are interested. So I'm sure she'll get it on the internet, website, somewhere along those. So. Any other questions about that position?
That's the maintenance position?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to elaborate a little bit, I've been here since late August of last year, and one of the largest things that I've heard over and over is that, like Christy said, there's a lot of people being stretched thin. Our site managers have a large role in our facilities each and every day. I would hear a lot, we have maintenance tasks that need to be performed, but we're shorthanded in custodial. So I'm very hopeful that this position will take the load off of some of them, and also help us reduce some of our contractor costs as well. So.
Have we thought about reaching out to Prosser to find out if anybody in their trades program could benefit from this after graduation? Maybe they work as an internship, for the next 6 weeks, and then, coming in and having a job before you graduate is not a bad thing.
To be honest with you, I have not, but I myself, as a student, went through Prosser. That would be a great opportunity, I think. So
Yeah.
I'd love to work with someone to see that through if possible.
Yeah, it just kind of depends what you're.
It's worth asking, yeah.
It'll be interesting. To be interested to see what you would get from it, because if you're going for more general trades versus going with a local 502 or the ABC, somebody like those, that'll make a big difference too, especially depending on what your needs are, because that's where it's really going to come down to.
Yeah, do you think that they would be skilled enough to come in to fulfill what you're wanting and needing daily versus having to provide extra support to an individual coming in that needs learning and training? I think that's something that you probably need to ask yourself too.
Right. I agree.
But we could always offer internships, regardless if it's a paying position or not, if we wanted to, for those students. But I think if we have a need that is requiring a lot of attention for that person to go and do, it's going to be based upon the individual's skill set if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I think it's just one of those things you can post it there. So, for example, I know through the nursing program, a lot of the hospitals and pharmacies or whatnot reach out to Prosser for posting. You still follow the proper procedure. You would interview and find out what their skills are, their desires are, and you find the best candidate. It could be a Prosser student, may not be a Prosser student. So I think it's just an avenue to, Joe had asked how we post. It could be an avenue that folks at Prosser all the time are receiving job information for current openings.
If nothing else, it gives them real world experience before they actually
Absolutely.
enter that trade, which being a tradesperson, that's difficult to do sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Ms. Hawkins, I know you're sharing something for Ms. Campbell tonight, right?
I am. I'm sharing Ms. Campbell's announcements tonight. She couldn't be here. So her information, this past Friday, we greatly enjoyed our first grade spring carnival. This is a PTO sponsored event. Our kindergarten students participated this past fall in a fall festival. So the spring carnival was just for first grade students and families. During the spring carnival, students and families enjoyed a bounce house, a food truck, lots of carnival games, a maze, and the wonderful DJ skills of our very own Officer Cordy. In addition, students were able to purchase tickets to dunk their teachers and their principal with water in the dunking booth. A great time was had by all. Thank you to our amazing PTO, as well as our students and families for such a wonderful evening. They're also excited to announce that they'll be hosting Camp Kindergarten for the first time in 3 years, and that event is tomorrow night. Camp Kindergarten will take place at Silver Creek Primary on Tuesday, April 26th. Last names starting with A through L is from 5:45 to 6:45 p.m., and last names with M through Z is from 7 to 8 p.m. This event is for incoming kindergarten students for the 22-23 school year. All attendees will participate in a scavenger hunt throughout the building, collecting items to promote kindergarten readiness. Our wonderful transportation department will have 2 school buses for students to walk through, and Kona Ice will be present as well. So that's Ms. Campbell's update.
Do you have any comments?
I do not, other than Camp Kindergarten. I'm glad we're having that again after 3 years. That's so fun for kids, seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you've not been to Camp Kindergarten, to see those kids' eyes light up and to get on the bus for the first time. So I know that they've done that virtually for the last couple of years, and they get to finally do it in person again. So that's really exciting.
Mr. Balmer? I shouldn't have asked, but
It's a little bit. First, I just want to thank teachers and administrators for all the testing that's going on. That can be quite stressful in a building, and fresh out of the building, I remember what that feels like. So I want to thank them for all the encouragement they give our kids and letting them know they're much more than just a test score, but also getting them ready and teaching them to do their best. I definitely need to say congratulations to Mrs. Balmer on the art. So congratulations to her, and I may be a little biased, but I do think she does some phenomenal things in her art class. The last thing I want to thank the high school for the senior trip. My daughter is on the senior trip. Just talked to her today. They're having a blast. I know there's a lot of planning that goes into that and making sure those kids stay safe on the trip. So I just want to thank them for keeping my daughter safe and having a great time. So that's it.
Dr. Briggs?
Yes, congratulations to Mrs. Balmer and her 2 students. Very impressive. Camp Kindergarten, yeah, first time in 3 years, so it's good to be back with those activities. Registration to all of our families out there. If you've not registered for next school year, we need you to do so. I'll also be sending out a reminder to you via email here very soon. Thanks again to Mr. Sinclair and Food Service for hosting us. They seemed to survive, the 3 of us, so we were happy to pitch in and not get in their way. Mrs. Hawkins alluded to professional development. I recently held my first session of what I call LEAD, L-E-A-D. We had about a dozen certified staff attend, and it's just an opportunity for all of us to continually build our leadership skills. So thanks to them. Now the pressure's on me to follow up with another as productive meeting. Thanks to Mrs. Myers for hosting us here this evening, and congratulations to the elementary on the PTO fundraiser. That's pretty impressive. So that's it. Thank you.
Ms. Franklin?
I don't have anything tonight. Quiet. Abnormally quiet.
Mr. Basham?
I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Bright?
I just want to second what Mr. Balmer was saying about the state standardized testing. That is such a grueling experience and time consuming, and there's so much planning that has to go into it. So I'm very appreciative to the staff, the teachers, and the students for their hard work on it. So.
Mr. Grohl?
First and foremost, shout out to all the PTOs across the entire district for stepping up, creating middle school dances, Dragon Dash, over at the primary as well. If it wasn't for the parents stepping in and helping out, a lot of these events wouldn't go. And honestly, the kids take advantage of every portion of that. So thank you for everybody at home. You did a wonderful job. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Awesome. I want to say when Mr. Balmer said the senior trip is just, when you look at the agenda of what these kids get to do, and my son is on it as well, it is phenomenal that they can partake in something like that. And the fact that 8 sponsors can have a plan put together to keep 100 kids safe and secure and is absolutely amazing. So, and they are having a blast, by the way. So, that, and I want to thank all of our teachers and staff as we start winding down the year. And that also goes to our administrative staff. We put a lot on you guys with everything going on right now, looking at our curriculum, building projects, bonding for money, then kind of rewriting a lot of our policies as we became a school corporation, and that couldn't be done without the work that you guys put into. So I want to thank you. Next, our next meeting dates, May 10th, we're at the primary school at 6:30. Right now, we have no executive sessions scheduled. May 24th at the primary school for our second May regular scheduled meeting. And then in June, on June 6th, we have a special meeting at 6:30. With that said, do we have a motion to adjourn, Ms. Bright?
I so move.
You're going to trick me one of these days. I'm not. Do we have a second? Mr. Basham seconds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Meeting adjourned